Hello everyone, this is Scott Weingold over at the College Planning Network, and today what I wanted to cover was the topic of are college financial aid dollars drying up? And those counting on aid are in for quite the bumpy ride in this upcoming year. Financial aid budgets aren't due for another few months, but colleges are clearly nervous. The current academic year, private institution spending on aid jumped 9.3%, yet tuition only rose by 4.1%, which is obviously a greater than 5% gap. 30% of private schools are projecting declines in tuition and fee revenue in 2010, and this number used to be closer to 10% on average in recent years, so you can see the big discrepancy. And on top of this, endowments are hit hard from the stock market and still haven't recovered, as with a lot of people. I read recently that Dartmouth, their endowment fell $835 million, which is over 20% in 2009 alone. But it's not just private colleges. Public schools are in heat too, raising tuition despite state governments faced with budget cuts. So to deal with this, cities and states are choosing to deal with it in many different ways. I'll give you some examples. One, Massachusetts, they slashed 10% from all higher education spending. The city of Pittsburgh proposed a citywide 1% tuition tax for all students enrolled in its colleges. Oregon, 38,500 college students will get less than they were promised in state grants in this upcoming school year. And the University of California and all of its branches raised its fees by 32% this year. So, what does this mean for families with college-bound kids? Well, it can mean a lot of headaches without taking the proper steps and securing the maximum amount of financial aid possible. So what I wanted to cover were just 3 steps that any family can take to ensure that they're getting every dollar of aid that they possibly can. The first step is to search and apply for any private scholarships that are available. What I typically recommend doing is go to www.fastweb.com. It's a free scholarship search. You can have your son or daughter go on there. They can fill out a profile, and they'll receive email alerts to all scholarships that they're eligible for. But you got to keep in mind that you don't want to spend a lot of time doing this, and this is why I say have your son or daughter go on here. They'll spend a couple hours, and they might get $100 here, $100 there. And not that that's, $100 is still $100, but my point is that when you're faced with costs of $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year in upcoming tuition costs, you don't want to spend weeks or months looking for these bizarre scholarships that are out there. Private scholarships are actually only about 3.5% of the $170 billion plus of aid. So just use your time efficiently. Like I said, fastweb.com is a good one to go to. The second thing your family could do is try to maximize any need-based financial aid dollars that they're eligible for. The first place to go is to start with the FAFSA form, which is the free application for federal student aid. But it can be very tricky. A lot of people end up messing this form up, and you don't want to tell them more than they need to know. And I'll give you an example. I saw someone recently who, when the school asked for the value of their investments, they decided to list the value of their 401k, which ended up costing that family a significant amount of financial aid in the upcoming year that it wasn't necessary. So you just don't want to, make sure you don't tell them anything that they don't need to know. The third step is the new American Opportunity Education Tax Credit, which is an extra $2,500 a year. Students, in order to get it, students have to be in their first 4 years of an undergraduate education, and it is phased out for single filers with an adjusted gross income of over $90,000 and for joint filers at over $180,000. So there you have it. Those are 3 easy steps that any family can take to try to maximize their financial aid. If you're ever looking for additional strategies on how to make paying for college more easily affordable, definitely check us out online on www.collegemadesimple.com, your family's single source for college admissions and financial aid planning. Take care.